Well, guys, once again, good evening. Welcome to tonight's session. Nos vamos acercando al final del curso. Well, of course, that means that today and tomorrow we will be working on our final unit, which is Unit 8. In this case, we will be talking, well, tonight, Unit 4, Unit 8. Tonight we will be talking about different, Unit 4, what am I saying? We will be talking about a grammatical component, which is about present perfect and past simple. And of course, remember that on the second part of the unit of the session, we will be talking about the preparation of our project. The idea is to give you some time to start working on the idea that you have in mind. And in case that you need like any, let's say, support, or you want me to check any aspect in particular, we'll be doing that. Okay, so I hope that you remember that part, which we'll be doing around the second part of our session. I hope that we can start working on that around 7 p.m. Okay, but as usual, guys, before we start, I'm going to take attendance. Let's start. Let me close this for a moment. Okay, today is the 16th. Karen Victoria. Okay. Steven Santiago.
Your teacher.
Okay. Kiara Lisette.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Our Sergio David already told me in the chat his situation. Jorge Jair.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Natalia Navarro.
Present.
Okay. Diego Fernando Olarte. Not here for the moment. Valentina Ortiz.
Present, miss.
Okay. Manuela Ortiz.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Sebastián Pavón. Not here for the moment. Beatriz Pedraza. Okay, Beatriz is not here. Hamilton Peña.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Xiomara Rincón.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Jessica Paola Ríos.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Caterina Alexandra Rodríguez.
Present, miss.
Okay. Marlon Yesid Sánchez. Not here for the moment. Mendy Fabián Santa.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Manuel Alberto Sepúlveda.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Mayra Alejandra Vega.
Present, teacher.
And okay, Mayra. Maria, sorry. And Vanessa Zambrano.
Present, teacher.
There you are. Very good. Well, so just to clarify, the ones that are absent for the moment are Marlon Yesid, Beatriz, Sebastián, Diego, and well, Sergio told me that he was driving. Okay. Well, guys, as I was telling you tonight, we officially begin Unit 4. I got confused because with the other level is Unit 8, but it is not an excuse to be confused, of course. That means that tonight we will be working on pages 36 and 37. Basically, today and tomorrow, we will be covering the most important aspects of the units, because remember that on Tuesday, we have our final exam. I have like an email pending that I will send you to, let's say officially tomorrow. I always send the email that says recta final del ciclo. Maybe you have missed the email. And in the email, I remind you about sending the project, the date of the exam, the activities in the virtual campus, which by the way, just like to let you know, they will be available until next Tuesday. But as I was telling you, tomorrow will remind you with the typical email that I always send you. Because today we begin our unit
Teacher,
4.
watch the page.
The pages are 36 and 37.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Well, I saw
Teacher?
Marlon. Yes.
When are we going to start the new
The
new level?
Manuel, actually, that is a good question. We only have 2, let's say, days for resting. Let's put it like that. We will be starting our B1.2 on Friday, the 24th.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
teacher.
Welcome, Manuel. Yeah, you know, when we finish the cycle during weekdays, we don't really feel like we are actually having a break. You know, when we finish on a Friday or a Thursday, thanks to the weekend, we can see that we are actually, let's say, refreshing a little bit our eyes. I always call it like that. But yeah, because we finish on a Tuesday, we have 2 days, and then we immediately begin on that Friday. And just also like to remind you, in case that I didn't tell you, let me show once again the calendar from here. Here on March. Then we begin the 24th. We have our classes from Monday to Friday of that week. And then on this Friday, we go on holiday, okay? Remember that during Holy Week, we won't have classes. But I will remind you when we begin our B.2. No, B1.2. With all those names and numbers, I always get confused. Okay. As I was telling you, today we begin our unit. Let's have a look at the different components that the unit has. The first aspect, which is grammar, which is actually one of the topics that we're going to study tonight. It's a kind of comparison, you know, between present perfect and past simple. Eventually, we will also talk about present perfect simple and present perfect continuous. In terms of vocabulary, we will be talking about life events and personal qualities, precisely connected to the topic of your presentation that will be in B1.5. The task says nominate someone for an award, and the word culture says Charles Dickens, write it, and campaigner, okay? So basically, those are the aspects that we will be covering on our unit 4. I was going to adjust the attendance. I forgot. Is Diego here?
Yes, teacher. I'm here.
Okay. I also saw Sebastian.
Present, teacher.
Okay. And Marlon, right?
Yes, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Yeah. But because then I forget, and then you get the email and the call and stuff. That's not the idea. Okay. Well, guys, the title of our unit 4, it says real lives. Here we have some pictures, you know, of kind of famous people. Why not? We're going to have a look at this question in particular, question 2A. It says, how many of the famous people in the photos you recognize? These 5 people that we have in these photos are the ones that you are going to, let's say, talk about a little bit and maybe recognize them. I would like to ask you, Diego, if you recognize the first guy that we have here in the picture.
Yes, he's Billy Ray Cyrus.
He's what?
Or Brad Pitt? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is Brad Pitt?
Yes. What have
Okay.
you heard about Brad Pitt, Diego?
He's an actor and model and multidisciplinary people. present.
Okay. Something else?
I don't know, teacher.
Okay, Diego, that's okay. As usual, for the moment, what we're doing is to predict. Mandy, don't forget to change your name, because then when the coordinator takes part of the session, she's going to tell me who's iPhone. So please don't forget
Okay,
to
teacher.
change your
No
name.
problem. I am changing my name.
Thank you very much. Hamilton, what about the second picture? Do you recognize her?
Teacher, no, I don't know who is that woman.
Okay, don't worry. Which of you guys recognize the second woman that we have here? Catherine, yes.
Miss Kate Middleton, the
Mhm.
princess of England.
Very good. Something else that you have heard about her, Catherine, besides that she's a princess?
She's married with a prince. I don't remember the name. And the prince, she has 2 kids with her, with him.
With him. I think they have 3 already. Kiara says, she's the Princess of Wales. Yeah, currently, like to be more detailed and specific, she was considered like the Princess of Wales because of the whole change that they had in England. And she's married to Prince William. Very good, Jorge. Thank you very much for helping Catherine providing that information. Very good. What about the next picture? Of course, we can't deny who she is. Hamilton, what do you know about her?
Teacher, about her
The third picture.
is Shakira. She's a singer and she's Colombian who in the last song talk about her ex-boyfriend and that is viral to the social networks.
It became viral, absolutely, right? Something that we really can't deny. Well, I think that we don't have to expand on that picture in particular. Thank you, Hamilton. Sebastian, what about picture 4? Who's that guy? Sebastian. Cuéntale que ya lo llamé la primera vez. Jorge, what about picture 4? Who's that guy?
He was president of the United States.
Very good. What else can we say about him?
He created social help for poor people in the United States.
Obamacare.
Yes.
Okay, Jorge. Anything else that you remember?
In the moment, no. No.
Okay, Jorge, that would be it. You know, guys, that usually at this part, we just predict. Of course, we will expand, let's say, our knowledge about these people. And then, Karen Victoria, what about the last guy? Who's that one?
The last one is Winston Churchill, ex-minister of United Kingdom in the Second World War.
Very good, Karen. Anything else that you remember besides what you said, which is pretty good, by the way?
How do you say? Fue un buen orador y pues alentó a los ingleses para.
He was a good speaker. Speaker is also
Yes.
para orador.
Sí, para ir a la guerra. Bueno, eso.
Like he encouraged people, let's say, to take part of the war, right? Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much, guys, for the moment. Of course, I know that you have also more information about them. But remember that based on what we are having a look at today, real lives, we will be focusing on very specific aspects of their lives. For the ones that have just taken part of the session, we are working on our book, as you can see, of course, on page 36. Let me see the chat. He was a painter as well. Okay, that's interesting information, Kiara. Very good. Well, it says work in pairs, but we are going to do it as a group. Okay, the instruction says, can you match the people with the surprising achievements in the text? As you see, we only have 5 statements, and each statement is talking about an achievement. But first of all, guys, do you remember the meaning of achievements?
Logros.
Very good. That is basically the idea of that word. It says the surprising achievements of famous people. Let's read the achievements and, let's predict. For the moment, we don't know who did what. Catherine Alexandra, could you read statement number 1?
Yes, Miss. Has published a best-selling book for children.
Catherine, if you had to predict from the 5 people that we had in the pictures, who could be the one, let's say, in charge of this achievement?
Maybe I choose Kate Middleton or no, only Kate Middleton.
Okay, Catherine, that's it. Don't worry. Kiara, please, could you read number 2?
Wrote over 70 books and won the Nobel Prize for Literature.
Literature, okay.
Literature.
Okay,
I think maybe was Churchill.
Okay. We'll see. Let's have a look at the statement number 3. Manuel, could you read it, please?
Yes, teacher. It says has learned to speak 6 languages and has founded many schools for poor children.
What do you think that is?
I think that's Shakira.
Okay. Let's continue predicting. Thank you, Manuel. Maria, what about the statement number 4? Could you read it, please?
Has studied architecture and has designed several buildings.
As designed.
Design.
What do you think it is? Maria? Choose one.
I don't know.
Remember that we're just predicting. We don't really know, Maybe it's a lucky guess or maybe it's a different answer, but it's just a prediction. So what do you think?
I don't know. Obama.
Okay, maybe it's Obama. We'll see. Why not? And final statement number 5. Marlon, could you read it, please?
Has moved from England to France.
Has wrote. Okay, very good. Here we have 5 achievements. Well, first of all, do you have any questions related to that vocabulary so we can all help each other to make sure that we know what the meaning of those words are? Questions?
Miss Rowett.
Road. Do any of you guys remember the meaning of road?
Remar.
Sería remado in this case, but it's related to that action. Very good. Okay. Well, guys, we're going to do 2 activities, let's say, at the same time. First of all, of course, we're going to listen, to know. Let me close here the list. to know which of these 5 people, accomplished these 5 achievements. That would be part 1. But the thing is that one of these achievements was only planned, but in reality, the achievement didn't happen. So you have to match the achievements that actually happened in reality. And also you have to pay attention according to the story and then decide which of these achievements was only planned, but at the end, the achievement didn't happen. It was just an idea, but it wasn't like a real event happening in their lives, okay? That is going to be the instruction. We're gonna listen twice. So make sure that you have like the 2 activities done, matching the name of the people and also identifying the achievement that didn't happen. Guys, do you have any questions about the instructions?
No, miss.
No, teacher.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Let's listen twice and we'll check.
Unit 4, Recording 1. Some people are so famous that it's hard to believe they have other skills. But this week in our Fabulous Facts slot, we're focusing on famous people and their hidden talents.
Barack Obama, for example, is not only one of the most famous politicians in the world, he has also published several books, including a book for children called Of Thee I Sing, A Letter to My Daughters. He wrote the book in 2008 for his 2 daughters, as you might guess from the title.
Obama isn't the only politician to appear in bookshops. Winston Churchill, the famous British Prime Minister, was also an author and an artist. Over the course of his life, he wrote over 70 books and painted more than 500 pictures. In 1953, he won the Nobel Prize for Literature, the only world leader who has ever done this.
And what about modern celebrities? Do they have the same hidden talents? Well, some of them do. Pop singer Shakira, for example, doesn't just produce international hit records. She has learnt to speak 6 languages. Wow! And since she became successful in 1995, she has also founded schools for poor children all over Colombia, her native country, and has raised tens of millions of pounds for charity. What a woman!
And Brad Pitt is not just Hollywood's leading actor, he's also an architect. He has apparently been interested in architecture since he was young and has studied the subject for many years. He has even designed a restaurant and an apartment building.
Even royals these days have surprising talents. Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, is a keen sportswoman, and before she was engaged to Prince William, she trained to row across the English Channel to France, a total of 34 kilometres, as part of an all-woman team. Unfortunately, she couldn't take part in the end. It was too dangerous because so many photographers were planning to follow her boat. What a shame.
Let's listen the second time.
Unit 4, Recording 1. Some people are so famous that it's hard to believe they have other skills. But this week in our Fabulous Facts slot, we're focusing on famous people and their hidden talents.
Barack Obama, for example, is not only one of the most famous politicians in the world, he has also published several books, including a book for children called Of Thee I Sing, A Letter to My Daughters. He wrote the book in 2008 for his 2 daughters, as you might guess from the title.
Obama isn't the only politician to appear in bookshops. Winston Churchill, the famous British Prime Minister, was also an author and an artist. Over the course of his life, he wrote over 70 books and painted more than 500 pictures. In 1953, he won the Nobel Prize for Literature, the only world leader who has ever done this.
And what about modern celebrities? Do they have the same hidden talents? Well, some of them do. Pop singer Shakira, for example, doesn't just produce international hit records. She has learnt to speak 6 languages. Wow! And since she became successful in 1995, she has also founded schools for poor children all over Colombia, her native country, and has raised tens of millions of pounds for charity. What a woman!
And Brad Pitt is not just Hollywood's leading actor, he's also an architect. He has apparently been interested in architecture since he was young and has studied the subject for many years. He has even designed a restaurant and an apartment building.
Even royals these days have surprising talents. Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, is a keen sportswoman, and before she was engaged to Prince William, she trained to row across the English Channel to France, a total of 34 kilometres, as part of an all-woman team. Unfortunately, she couldn't take part in the end. It was too dangerous because so many photographers were planning to follow her boat. What a shame.
Okay. Let's see who did what. Let's put it like that. What about the first achievement that we have here in our list? Mandy, who did it?
Teacher, the first person is Barack Obama.
Absolutely. Very good. What about number 2, Natalia?
Teacher, the second person is Winston Churchill.
Very good. What about the third one, Sergio? Well, maybe you haven't arrived yet. That's your final destination. Steven, what about the third one?
Is Shakira.
Absolutely. What about number 4, Valentina? Valentina.
Teacher,
Yes.
Sergio.
Sergio. Well,
Yes.
do you have the answer?
Is Brad Pitt.
For number 4 is Brad Pitt. Okay, very good. And what about number 5? Bueno, Valentina me la debe. Vanessa.
Teacher, Kate Middleton, Duchess of Cambridge.
Very good, Vanessa. Excellent. So far, those were the achievements that they did. Remember, guys, that the idea was also to do part C. I was telling you that there was one of these achievements that actually was only a plan, but it didn't happen at the end. Xiomara, which of these achievements didn't happen?
Teacher, I think number 1.
You think it was number 1? No, Xiomara, sorry. Let's ask Jessica for help. Jessica, which of these achievements didn't happen?
You can repeat, teacher. Can you repeat?
Sure. The idea was also to identify, according to the formation, one of these achievements that didn't happen, that it was only a plan, but in reality, that event didn't take place. So, which of these achievements didn't happen?
The rapid?
Not really. Kiara, let's help your classmates. Which one?
Teacher, Kate Middleton can't row from England to France because the paparazzis is very dangerous for here.
Okay, yeah, she couldn't, right? Yeah, because the paparazzi were going to take like a lot of pictures and there was a problem with security. Perfect, Kiara. Thank you very much. Very good. Well, guys, in this case, we only listened twice. I didn't tell you like to listen one more time because we are going to do this grammatical exercise first before we actually have a look at the grammatical component, you know, that we usually review. That's the idea, that first we see how much we remember and then we check all those parameters that the grammar for tonight, you know, present perfect and past simple, let's say have to offer. In this case, we have 5 statements. Each statement is related to each person, right? According to the information that was shared. As you see on each situation, somehow, there are 2 different verbs. One verb is in past simple and the other one is in present perfect. The idea, guys, is that you choose the correct verb according to the context of each situation. It's necessary to read all of it. I'm going to do number 1 as an example. Well, the first part of number 1. It says Barack Obama published or has published several books. So far, we can say that he has published. It's a process that for him hasn't finished. That is why in this case, we're going to choose that one. In the second one, you have to decide between wrote, has written. Number 3, we have painted, has painted, and wrote, has written. Won, has won. Number 3, founded, has founded. Also raised, has also raised. Number 4, was, has been, designed, has designed. Number 5, was, has been, trained, and has trained. We're going to do this activity first individually. Then we're going to listen one more time to check your answers. That is basically the intention. Guys, do you have any questions about the instructions?
No questions.
Thank you very much.
Teacher, no questions.
Perfect. Guys, I'm gonna give you 7 minutes, you know, for you like to analyze all the statements. Notice that the first one of number 1, we already have it, which was the example, and then we are going to check the statements. Well, I don't interrupt you anymore. 7 minutes starting now. Okay, guys, time's up. Remember that we're going to listen one more time, only one more time. And the idea that you are going to check your answers. After we listen, then you are going to read, the answers. And of course, that means that we're going to have a look at our grammatical components of the night. Let's listen. Let me make sure that I'm actually sharing sound. Yes.
Unit 4, Recording 1. Some people are so famous that it's hard to believe they have other skills. But this week in our Fabulous Facts slot, we're focusing on famous people and their hidden talents.
Barack Obama, for example, is not only one of the most famous politicians in the world, he has also published several books, including a book for children called Of Thee I Sing, A Letter to My Daughters. He wrote the book in 2008 for his 2 daughters, as you might guess from the title.
Obama isn't the only politician to appear in bookshops. Winston Churchill, the famous British Prime Minister, was also an author and an artist. Over the course of his life, he wrote over 70 books and painted more than 500 pictures. In 1953, he won the Nobel Prize for Literature, the only world leader who has ever done this.
And what about modern celebrities? Do they have the same hidden talents? Well, some of them do. Pop singer Shakira, for example, doesn't just produce international hit records. She has learnt to speak 6 languages. Wow! And since she became successful in 1995, she has also founded schools for poor children all over Colombia, her native country, and has raised tens of millions of pounds for charity. What a woman!
And Brad Pitt is not just Hollywood's leading actor, he's also an architect. He has apparently been interested in architecture since he was young and has studied the subject for many years. He has even designed a restaurant and an apartment building.
Even royals these days have surprising talents. Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, is a keen sportswoman, and before she was engaged to Prince William, she trained to row across the English Channel to France, a total of 34 kilometres, as part of an all-woman team. Unfortunately, she couldn't take part in the end. It was too dangerous because so many photographers were planning to follow her boat. What a shame.
Okay. Now it's time to check your answers. We already listened like the 4th time. Beatriz, what about the second part of part 1? We already had the first one. It has published. Well, Barack Obama has published several books. The second sentence, Beatriz, please.
He wrote a book for his 2 daughters.
Very good. Thank you, Beatriz. Diego, could you read number 2, please?
Over the course of his life, Winston Churchill has painted more than 500 pictures and wrote over 70 books. In 1953, he won the Nobel Prize of Literature.
Diego, the first one you said has painted, but the thing is that he's already dead.
Okay.
The action is completely in the past. He painted. That would be it.
Okay, teacher.
Thank you very much. Vanessa, yes.
Teacher, one question. In figures, in the audio, say has published, but why?
Well, in this case, we have, let's say, to add a little bit of context, Vanessa, because Barack Obama, among many other, let's say, skills that he has, he is also a writer, right? If we only say published, like in past, that means that he won't write anymore in the future, right? But saying that he has published, that means that, of course, he already wrote some books in the past, but in present and in the future, probably he will continue doing that action. So although it's something that started in the past, it's an activity that still has impact in his present life. It is not like it is incorrect in terms of grammar. It is because of the context, right? The guy continues writing all the time. That is the idea in this case. If we say policy is like no more books from Barack Obama. But the guy is a writer.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
Vanessa, but it's a good observation, of course. But as I told you, then we had to add like extra information for the context. So we can choose has published instead of only published. Let me ask Hamilton to read number 3.
Teacher, since 1995, Shakira founded a school for poor children all over Colombia. She has also raised many millions of dollars for charity.
This one is correct. And in the case of the first part would be has founded. Also, you know, this word since is actually a good, let's say, clue or hint when we are talking about the tense to be used. Since is showing us the point in time, like it started in the past, but it still continues in present. Let me see the chat. Jorge says has founded. Very good. And well, also, well, the good thing is that this statement was about Shakira. We know that that is something that she continues doing all the time, right? She keeps on, among many other things, founding this type of schools or institutions that help poor children. So that is why in this case, the first part is has founded. Yeah, the since is a good point of reference when we are not sure, you know, like when we're trying to decide like which one is the proper one. Since is a good point of reference. Let's have a look at number 4, Sebastian. Let's see the chat. You didn't listen anything? Sebastian, that's sad. Yeah, I was going to tell you, segundo llamado, but if the connection is not good, let's ask Jorge for some help. Okay. Yeah, let me ask Jorge, Catherine.
Me, teacher.
Yes, please.
Brad Pitt has been interested in architecture since he was young, and he has designed a restaurant and apartment building.
Well, has been interested in architecture.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Well, once again, in this case, based on the information that they shared in the audio, it's something that still happens in his life. It still has an impact in his present life. And number 5, Karen Victoria, please.
And before she was engaged to the Kate Middleton has training to row across the English Channel in a woman team.
The pronunciation is team. But in this case, Karen, also this verb is in past because notice that the whole, let me underline it, because the whole context of the statement is before she was engaged. And as we know in present, she's now married with Prince William, right? So we are talking about some actions, in this case, a very particular event that was in her past, in that point of her life. Okay? Well, guys, these are the answers. Remember that we were using the recording as our point of reference. Usually, we would always need some extra context, you know, to decide which is the best choice. Before we go to the slide to refresh our memory about the grammatical component, do you have any question about the statements, guys? Okay. I take your silence as no questions. Let's refresh our memory. As I was telling you, the idea of tonight is to have a look at those elements that create somehow these two tenses. I know that you know, that is why I'm telling you that this is just a review. When we're talking about present perfect simple, we always need two components. First of all, we need our auxiliary that is going to be have or has, and then the verb in past participle. Also keeping in mind that we have two categories of verbs, right? We have regular and irregular. These verbs were taken from the exercise. We have publish, paint, raise, design, and train. They are regular verbs. Write, win, find, and be are irregular verbs, right? Some statements in this case, as you already noticed, of course, were in present perfect. Remember that the idea of present perfect is that the action is still connected to present. It started in the past, but it continues in the present life, you know. We can take as an example the sentence from Brad Pitt. It says, Brad Pitt has been interested in architecture since he was young, right? Notice that in this case, we are talking about that in the past, he was interested in architecture, but now in present, he is still interested in architecture, right? So it's an action that still has an impact in his present. What happens with past simple? You know, the case of past simple, as the name states, we are talking about an action that is already finished. In some cases, we have extra help, you know, like when we tell the year. This was the first example. Well, the second line. It was in 2008, he wrote a book for his two daughters. This year already passed, you know. That is why we are using past simple to talk about this action that finished in the past. And, you know, usually that's like our help, you know, those words or those expressions that are actually giving us that information to recognize past simple or present perfect. In the case of past simple, any combination with ago. Guys, do you remember the meaning of ago? What is ago?
Action.
Very good. So if we say, for example, 10 minutes ago, 3 weeks ago, 50 years ago, that is past simple. As you already noticed from the example, when we use the year in, when we use, well, yesterday, when we use complete expressions using when I was young, for example. And there are other statements that we can use usually to talk about present perfect. As I was telling you, since usually is used in present perfect, not all the time, of course, but probably is one of the most common uses. So far, in the last 10 years, talking about that period of time that started in the past and still continues in present. In these cases, guys, the context is absolutely important because if we only look at the verb, for example, if we say design, yeah, design can go in any tense that we want. But am I talking about this action that happened like 50 years ago, or I'm talking about something that still has an impact in the present life of anybody? So context is absolutely relevant. It's a key. In this case, to recognize when I use present perfect or when I use past simple, okay? Guys, tell me, do you have any questions?
No, teacher.
Right. Well, guys, first we're going to take a step back, a mini step back, because remember what we said or what we already know about present perfect, that when we are making the statements, besides the auxiliary, we need the verbs in past participle. So we are going to play a Kahoot, a really fast Kahoot, you know, and the idea is to refresh our memory precisely about the verbs in past participle. Let me share the screen with you. Let me send you the link. This Kahoot is just like to activate your prior knowledge. I know that you know, but in some cases we need like to refresh our memory a little bit about the use of the verbs in past participle. So let's play the sound here. There you go. Well, it says 22, but we are actually 20. I really hope that most of you guys have a good connection.
Me, teacher, I double connection.
Okay. We have 15. Jessica, Jorge, Valentina, Kiara, Catherine, Beatriz, Diego, Manu, Karen, A, Manuel, Natalia, María V, Hamilton, Marlon, Santiago, Xiomara, and Sergio G. And Vanessa. Ready? Okay. Remember, guys, very simple verbs in past participle, the ones that we need to use when we're making statements in present perfect. Let's begin with drink. It is drank. Very good. With you is the past participle. With A is the past simple. Okay. What about come? It's come again because came is the past simple. Okay. This is a moment, you know, when we refresh our memory. So don't worry about the mistakes yet. Manuel, excellent. What about do? It's done. Very good. Okay. What about take? It is taken. Excellent, because took is the past simple. Very good, Beatriz and Diego. Speak. Spoken, excellent. Written, very good, because wrote is past simple. Manu appeared. Okay. What about give? Excellent, nothing to say. What about see? Very good, guys. Bien. What about do? Did again? Don't. Careful, Beatriz. What about eat? Eaten, very good. Ate is the past simple. You're so close from each other. So to finish, what about buy? It was the tricky one in here. Of course, it's bought. Let's see. Careful. Okay, the last one. What about go? It's gone. Very good, because went is the past simple. Okay. As I was telling you guys, the idea was to refresh our memory a little bit. Jorge, very good. Diego, very good. And Manuel, excellent. Those are cute animals. Beatriz and Kiara, great. Mandy, sorry. Well, we were just refreshing our memory as I was telling you. We are probably a little bit more familiar with the verbs in past simple. In some cases, they are the same as the ones in past participle if they are regular and some irregular. But that the intention, you know, like we need to make sure that we actually use the proper version of the verbs. Well, guys, this activity is going to be as a mini homework, you know, similar to what I have assigned to you the other days. In this case, the idea of the activity would be to decide no, because you don't really have to decide, to be honest, would be to organize the statements. Let me. In here. Okay, so what you have to do, as you already know the drill, you just have to move the words in order to organize the statements. In this case, some statements are in present perfect, some statements are in past simple, some statements are combined, you know, and the idea that you pay attention to how all the statements are organized. There are also questions, okay? So be careful with that part. As I told you, I'm gonna send you the link. It is going to be a mini homework for you also to refresh your memory a little bit with the use of past simple and present perfect. Let me see if I made the adjustment. So it finishes tomorrow, you know, until 6 p.m. So the idea that when we begin tomorrow's session, you already finished, and the first thing to do would be to see the exercise and of course to see if you have any question, okay? Guys, do you have any question about that homework?
No, teacher.
Okay, very good. Well, guys, we're going to move to the second part of our session. Remember that the idea of tonight is to talk about the project preparation. Let's say that we officially start working on that topic that you will be eventually presented on B1.5. Let me refresh your memory about certain aspects. You're expected to talk about an important life event of your choosing. In this case, our task is individually. I just took a screenshot from the format. Today, we are going to talk about the first aspects to be included. Let me see the chat. I know, man. Don't forget to change it. Remember that on the original format, we have all the different activities that you have to do on all the cycles. Let's say that, of course, what we care about is the activity for B1.1. It says first project advance. Students have to upload a Word document, minimum 1 letter size page, okay, which contains the following chunks of information. Guys, remember that when we say chunks of information, it's because we're talking about general aspects. For the moment, we don't have any like editing. We don't have like any connection among all the events. We are just putting like maybe titles, information, title, information, and that's it. Type of event, which you already shows. When it happened, how it happened, who was part of the event, why it is important, how you felt, and of course, a full description of the scenario. Notice that here it says, etc. I'm going to place it in red. The idea of etc. is for you to include any extra information that you consider relevant according to your event, whatever thing you want, okay? That, of course, let's say is used to continue enriching what you are sharing about your event. So everybody, of course, has to include this. Everybody has like the same organization, what we already read, plus one extra aspect that for you is relevant and once again is enriching the event that you chose. Remember, of course, that this information was taken from the format that you already have. These are the topics that you have already decided. Everybody already decided on the topics. Remember, guys, that the idea on this part is for you to start working on that and that you have until tomorrow midnight to upload your advance. This link is also in the presentation, the one that we shared, well, that I presented to you the first day. And just in case, it is located in the part of materials. Let me share I'm sharing the whole screen. Good. Remember that in materials, we have the format and the idea that you upload your advance in here. Okay, this is the section that you will be using. Of course, after tomorrow midnight, if you don't send it, will be a 0. Yes.
We should create a new folder in or
well, for the moment, it's just to upload the document because you don't need maybe for the second in B1.2 that you have to create a presentation, we will need a folder, and in every cycle I change the link, so far not yet.
Okay, teacher.
Valentina says, hasta hoy hay plaza subir hasta mañana. Mañana, Valentina. The idea that today, in this second part of the session, you start working on the information that you need. But to upload it, to finish it, would be until tomorrow midnight. Okay? So guys, this is what we are going to do. Because in this case, the activity is going to be individually. I'm going to create 20 breakout rooms. Okay? What is going to be the idea that you guys will go to your breakout room? Okay? Of course, that means that according to the list, similar to the activities that we do on the shared PowerPoints. So Karen would go to the group number 1, to the room. Let's call it room in this case, number 1. Jorge, room number 5. Marlon to room number 16. The idea for you, it may look silly, but the idea for you is that you work individually, and in case that you have questions, you call me to visit what you have already collected. Okay? So I'm going to create the rooms. I'm going to send you to the rooms, and then I'm going to visit you during like 1 minute, you know, so I have the opportunity to visit all you 20. Questions, guys?
Teacher, I have the question about the extension of document.
It says that for the moment, it should be at least 1 page, you know, talking about a Word document. I think that the maximum would be like 2 pages, 3 pages, 3. Let's say that maximum 3, but the minimum is 1. It doesn't have a maximum on the format, but I think that 3 pages for this first part would be more than enough.
Teacher, the document is necessary question number one and answer, or is possible the narrative or sentences?
The idea that there are subtitles, you know, like which paragraph is related to which topic. So you decide if you put a question or if you only say date, how I felt. But the idea that it is like evident, the part of the document that is being presented, you know? Like I can see, okay, this information is about the date. This information is a description. This information is about how it happened. Like it is evident that everything is separated, not only one big paragraph containing all the information. No, they did that everything is separated and organized.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, very good. Any other question, guys? Okay, don't forget the room that you will be heading to. After a few minutes, I will start visiting you, okay? Let's begin. Because some of you are repeated, okay. There you go. Now it is just for me to open it. Let's start. Manuel entró a la sala 1.
Teacher, I think I was not great.
Sorry, could you repeat?
No, teacher, forgot it.
Okay. Beatriz is already in her room. Sebastián, Kiara, Mendy, Manuela y Jessica.
Es que no
Cuéntenme.
encuentro cómo puedo ingresar a la sala, o sea, no me aparece, en un momento me sale y voy a entrar y como que no me funciona el botón.
A ver, Kiara, sería la 4. Vamos a ver. Listo. A ver, cuéntame si te deja. Okay. Hi, Beatriz.
Hi, Miss.
How's everything?
Miss, I have a question for this item. Full and deep description of this. By my scenario is I hope an special for the year in COVID. My mom dictate on concept. I am description for this six, but because my family union, my family, I could see for here how description full a deep description of the scenario for my Thai event.
Well, in this case, we will be talking about like the worldwide context, like talking about the pandemic aspects a little bit, because we're not talking about just like an event that happened in a church. So you would have to tell a little bit the story that there was a pandemic that started in China, spread around the world, and then as a result, people were confined in their houses, like starting from the global and then moving to the individual that is you. And then you couldn't go out to work to the office, and you had to work from home, from
Yeah.
your room, like that would be like the general description in your case, from the big one until if we finish, let's put it like that, in your house.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I would put it like that. Okay,
Okay,
that is perfect.
Yes, thank you, teacher.
Okay, welcome. See you in a moment.
Yes, teacher. Bye.
Hi, Karen. I wanted to ask if you have any question.
Hi, teacher. ¿Puedo mostrarle lo que llevo escrito?
Sí, claro, sí. Creo que puse que puedan compartir pantalla. Yes. Ok, bueno, primero coloque que el editor sea en inglés porque esa cosa toda roja
Sí,
me mata los ojitos.
perdón.
No problem.
Mm, Listo.
Thank you very much. It's graduating made me happy, but happier. It made me, okay. With en mayúscula, ¿no?
Ujú.
Mm, ok, baja porfa. Bombs, no, bomb viene siendo bombas de las que explotan. Balloons. En el tercer párrafo. La segunda, al inicio de la segunda línea, el tercer párrafo. ¿O es el cuarto párrafo? Un, dos, tres, no, el tercero. Segunda línea.
Ok.
Sí.
Balloons.
Balloon, sí. Bombs son las bombas que explotan de guerra, por decirlo así.
¿Así?
Ujú. Ujú, ok. Mm, de pronto lo que yo les contaba, como que se note, pues está como evidente, pero en qué parte, de pronto, ¿cómo se podría hacer? Digamos, ¿cómo se sintió? Porque es que eventualmente, digamos, tenemos que ir pensando hacia adelante. Cuando se vaya a hacer la presentación, se tiene que ver así como todos esos momentos separados de cuándo fue. El evento ocurrió en tal momento. Entonces, digamos que por el momento se viene siendo como tu script general, ¿cierto? Pero ya más adelante,
Sí.
cuando se vaya a hacer la presentación, estoy hablando de aquí a un mes, obviamente, parece lejos, pero no lo es. La idea es que se pueda hacer como ese desglose, así como está en la lista del formato. ¿Cuándo ocurrió? ¿Cómo se sintió? ¿Con quiénes estaba? Y bueno, obviamente aquí está la descripción. Yo diría que por el momento dejarlo así y pensar, porque eso es lo que luego estaremos haciendo en B1.2, ya cuando empecemos a realizar esa ayuda visual, eh, cómo se va a separar la información para que quede así desglosada. ¿Listo? Pero
Teacher,
realmente
o
yo
sea,
diría que
más
sí.
que todo es como separar la información, pero digamos, acá hay suficiente información para la
Ujú.
presentación
Exacto.
o
Para
debo.
mí, yo creo que ya tiene bastante, pero
Ah,
ya,
ok.
ya cuando llegué, pero bueno, no me quiero adelantar todavía como a todas las fases, porque por el momento estamos en fase de colectar información. Yo creo que tiene bastante, bastante no tiene la información necesaria.
Ok, teacher.
Ujú. Listo.
Gracias.
Perfecto, Karen, seguiré visitando a ver el tiempo si me alcanza. Bueno, ahorita los llamo. Bye. Hi, Jorge.
Hi, teacher.
How's everything?
Good. A moment.
Okay. Yeah, I
I
wanted to
can
ask if you had a question. Mhm. Okay. Bueno, Jorge, primero que todo, póngame ese documento en inglés porque todo ese subrayado en rojo me duelen los
Okay.
ojitos. Thank you.
Inglés.
Estados Unidos. Eso. Aceptar no solo aceptar. No, no, no. Bueno, yo no sé. De ahora en adelante todo lo que escriba se lo va a calificar en inglés. Ve, y ahí aparecen cositas en spelling. October. I got my, ¿ves? I got my degree in electronic. Como estás hablando de la ciencia, estás diciendo que el grado o el diploma es en ingeniería electrónica. Entonces sería electronic engineering.
Okay.
I had to work hard on my degree project for a year and a half. I presented my thesis. Usualmente es porque en inglés se supone que antes del and debe ir una coma. Me imagino que eso es lo que está marcando ahí. And I got a good qualification. Qualification no existe en inglés, Jorge. Sería I got a good grade. No, porque estamos hablando de la nota.
Okay.
Was part of my family, were part of my graduation. Es una pregunta. My graduation together. ¿Qué? My family were part of my graduation. Together with, como para decir junto con. Después del together, un with. Son
With
relatives.
some, okay.
Exactly. Why it is important? That day was very important for me because I had been dreaming with my degree since I started my career. How you felt, I was very happy and I enjoyed each moment of this day. Sería of that day, porque ya estamos hablando de un día que ya pasó.
Okay.
The graduation ceremony took place in the WIS auditorium, WIS mayúscula, las tres letras. That day I was excited. No, sin los punticos. Estoy diciendo que estaba emocionado usted, ese era el sentimiento. Entonces no es con ed, perdón, no es con ing, sino con ed. I was excited. Entonces estamos hablando de todo en pasado. Because I could feel. Revise el spelling de happiness. Faltaba la S. The poor people in the I arrived at 10 a.m. but the ceremony didn't start still. ¿Cómo así didn't start still?
No había comenzado.
No había comenzado. Entonces nos toca pasado perfecto. Hadn't started yet. I was with my parents and some of my friends. We had to make a long line to get in. Así es. Esa fila es eterna. Very good for the moment, Jorge. I think that you have collected a good amount of information so far and other elements that you want to include. But so far, I think that it is complete.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, Jorge, thank you. Hi, Marlon.
Hi, teacher.
How's everything?
Give me a moment, please.
Okay.
So my event is birth of my son.
Great.
So I tell a little behind of the history. Sería como lo que tuve que pasar, más o menos.
Sí.
Sí, ¿cómo
Ok.
se dice? Bueno,
Sí,
entonces
sí, está bien dicho, creo yo.
voy a contar como las cosas que pasaron y después voy a contar cuándo nació. Esto lo voy a poner casi que al final.
Ok, listo.
Lo que estoy organizando las ideas hasta ahora, la verdad.
Sí, sí, esa es la idea. Igual ahorita la verdad es muy general. Ya a medida que va avanzando el B1 es cuando seguimos puliendo. Marlon, entonces, my son Juan was born, para decir que nació, porque birth es solo nacimiento. Born y quitamos el birth. Ah, bueno, entonces como estamos hablando de la mamá de él, ¿no? Entonces no sería your mother, sino his mother.
A mí todavía me confunde un montón eso. His mother.
Ujú. Y bueno, ese he no es necesario que vaya en mayúscula. Digamos que el único pronombre que siempre va a ir en mayúscula, no importa en la oración en qué parte se es I. Ay, Dios mío, las But behind of birth of my son, there is everything. Ok. Entonces, detrás del nacimiento, aquí sí ya no sirve el nacimiento. Aquí ya podemos decir behind of the birth. Ahí sí ya podemos usar el artículo antes del birth de. El TH, porque estamos hablando específicamente de ese nacimiento. Y como quiere decir que hay varias cosas, entonces sería there are. There is sería si solo hay una. Pero usted hace referencia a que son varias, entonces there are. I knew I was a mechanical. Como estamos hablando de la carrera de ingeniería, sería mechanical engineering. Es a typical media class of Colombia with a lot of resources. So for me, this news was very hard and difficult, and I think that I tenía que decidir. I think that I must. Sí, ahí voy leyendo. Tenía que decidir.
Sí, señora.
Entonces, como es tenía que decir, must no se usa para pasado. Para hablar de una obligación en pasado toca con el verbo have, pero en pasado. Entonces sería had to decide, para hacer referencia que era una obligación en pasado. Entonces le quita la D al decide. Y como between es una preposición, el give debe ir con ing. Between giving money for my son. Y ese between también impacta el otro verbo después del and, que usted lo tiene en pasado, pero nuevamente sería la forma en gerundio, otra vez con ing, pero living. Entonces, como decir, entre darle dinero y dejar, no, living de dejar. O sea, left, pero en presente, por decirlo así.
Sería live, live.
No. Usted tenía left. ¿Cuál es la forma presente de left? No. ¿Cuál es el presente de left? Entonces, tenemos el, I, A, V, I. Venga, se lo pongo en el chat. No. Marlon. Look at the chat.
Ah,
Ese. Okay. Okay. I don't know how to say to my mom, me dice, Father, fortunately, Jenny. Mom's Juan. ¿Quiere decir la mamá de Juan? Entonces sería primero Juan y luego mom. Juan's mom. Y bueno, ahí sigue avanzándole. Voy a ir a otro grupo, Marlon, y los llamo para cerrar este primer bloque. ¿Listo? Listo, thank you. Manuel, I'm sorry, it took me more time than they expected. Tell me.
Hi, teacher. Yes, okay, this is what I have so far. Do you see it?
Listen, date. Well, date, pending, location,
Yes.
people who are doing existence.
I have maybe some questions about this part. I mean, the beginning. Maybe if I missed something, because I was the godfather. I think that's the name.
Okay. Because I was Elena's godfather, and that has been the first time I am somebody's godfather. It was important for my family. Ah, no, it's important to me. No, important too. Important va con tú en la collocation, lo siento. In general, because we consider ourselves Catholic, and this is the beginning of the Catholic life of my two nieces. I think it's a pretty good idea. Okay. So far, I think it's good. Of course, there are other aspects, right? Like the general description.
Yes.
But I think so far the ideas are good. And this is a good like reason why it is considered important.
Okay.
For Catholics, it is very important. Mhm.
Okay. Thank
Well,
you so
guys,
much,
I'm
teacher.
gonna call you like to finish the first part, so we can officially go to the break. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
See you in a moment. Well, guys, welcome back. I couldn't visit all of you. The good thing about the first part of the delivery of the project is that we talk about very general aspects, right? Make sure, guys, that you include the aspects that are being requested. Remember that for the moment, it's not necessary to edit that much. This is one of the processes that we will be doing through the development of B.1. Please don't forget the deadline until tomorrow. Check all those important aspects like spelling, grammar and stuff. But the most important thing, include all the aspects that are being requested. That's the first thing that I'm going to check. Okay. Well, guys, I'm sorry that it took 5 minutes of your break. We will meet tomorrow again. Have a good night, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Bye.
Take care, everybody.